everyone, welcome back to my channel Cheeky Journals. In this video I've got quite a few things planned. I want to show you a few products that are available in my Etsy store, and then I'm also going to do a tutorial and show you how to make these cute floral paper bags. So starting off first, this is a new product in my store. It's vintage paper packs. So I have one that I still have to make up, so I'm not going to open these, and I'll just show you what you can find on the inside. So in total I have 12 papers and they're all vintage. So the first bit that I have is this beautiful old piano roll paper. They all have unique markings on and little stamps. I bought them like that. It's very vintage. There is some discoloration on it, and each one will look slightly different. So in the pack you'll get 3 of them. Not all of them will necessarily have markings, and as you can see, the markings on all 3 of them are quite in different spots. Then the next thing that I've added to the paper packs are these beautiful vintage music paper. Some of them have cute writing on it. Well, not cute, like very vintage writing, as you can see over there. I absolutely love it. And there's some more. So I got this from this very old book. I'll show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's basically falling to pieces. It's so old, but the paper inside is absolutely beautiful. You can see how old it is, that some of the pages are actually busy falling out. So this is definitely a treasure that I found, and I would like to share it with people because I'll never be able to use that up all by myself. So I've got 3 of them. Then I also have 3 pieces of vintage wallpaper. So this is from the same roll, but the design of it might be a bit different. As you can see, this part of the pattern is more in the middle, where there is more to the side. So it's the same paper, but you might get a different part of the roll. This is very old vintage paper. It's got that paper feel to it, and that's what it looks like at the back. So the reason why I've added 3 of each is because I always find when I get something that I'm too scared to use up this piece and ruin it. So I thought it would be nice to have 3 pieces in each pack, so you can play around and use it in different projects and just think of new things that you can make and experiment without being scared because you've got some backup. Then the last thing that I've added in the pack is more wallpaper, so also 3 pieces. This one is quite a bit different. It's very light. It's got that pastel effect on it, and I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but it's painted, they've painted flowers on it, but it's very abstract. So I absolutely love the color of it. This wallpaper is slightly different to this part. This is very porous. It's got that very paper texture to it, where this is more smooth, if I can describe it like that. I mean, you can feel the texture here and there, but it's a very smooth paper. The best that I can describe it is that if I mess water on this, I feel that the water is definitely going to sink in very quickly. If I mess some water on here, you'll still have time to wipe it off. And I'll say it's more of a vinyl wallpaper. So those are the things that you'll get in this pack. So in total you'll get 12 vintage papers. The next product in my store are these handmade vintage floral pockets. So in each pack you'll get 5 pockets, and most of them have either vintage music paper or book pages. I've tried to play around with both. And then they've got a floral image, and these images are from a vintage floral book. So that's the original image that I got from the book. It's not a copy or a printable. And then I finished all of them off with a Tom Holtz sticker. Some of them might have a phrase, others a word or a number. And the orientation of each of them are slightly different. As you can see, this one is more off to the side. And then we've got another one in the middle, another one to the side, and then a smaller cluster down here at the bottom. I've tried to, in each pack, give you a variety of the orientation, music versus book pages, and all of those things. These pockets will be perfect for junk journalers, or if you're just into journaling in general. You can add into the pocket, the opening there, you can add tags, notes, ephemera, photos, whatever you can really add to it, you can add in there. This is perfect to tip into your journal, paper clip it in, or even you can just put glue here at the back and stick it into your journal and then still use the pocket. So really, you can use it for whatever you would like. I will do a flip through and show you some of the other pockets that I've made, so you can just generally have a feel of what the rest of them look like. And if you are looking for the sizes for all these products, I will put them in the listing so you can just read up on them. So let's jump right into the tutorial of how to make these paper pockets. The first thing that you're going to need is some brown paper. I've got some here on a roll, a ruler. I'm using a metal ruler because I'm planning to use the X-Acto knife. You don't have to use the X-Acto knife. You can also just use a scissors. And if you use a scissors, you don't need a metal ruler. You can use a plastic or a wooden ruler. Some pinking shears, a pencil, whatever glue you've got, a cutting mat, and then for the decoration part of the pocket, you're going to need some old vintage floral books. If you don't have any of these, you can use magazine images like from the Daphne's Diary, Breathe, Project Calm, Flow, whatever you've got. You can also find printables off Etsy or Pinterest. You're going to need a cutting mat, some music and old book pages, and then some form of sticker that contains a phrase, a word, or a number. This is from the Tim Holtz range. If you don't have these, you can use anything similar to it. Otherwise, you can type your own out on the computer and then print it on sticker paper. Okay, I'm going to start off by just cutting off 13.5 centimeters off this roll. Now, if you are working in inches, I would suggest just going to Google and type in centimeters to inches, and you can just convert it there. I want to just note that there are many different ways of making these pockets, and this is just one of the ways that I make them. So you do get some fancy tools that you can use, and I think you even get like a die cut, some die cut plates, and that sounds very easy to do it as well. So this is just the way that I do it, and you don't need a lot of tools. It's limited supplies that you need to make this. You can also, instead of a ruler, use a paper cutter, or you can just put this down on a cutting mat and then with your X-Acto knife rule off or cut off 13.5 centimeters. I'm just doing it the difficult way now because not everybody's always got all of those things, and I sometimes prefer working with limited things. It's just sometimes easier and going back to basics. So what I did is I've just basically put my ruler there and I've marked off at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom 13.5 centimeters, just to make sure that I've got a straight piece of paper that I'm working with. So I've got these paper clamps and I just clamp them in. Just to make sure it's straight there. And then going to 18 centimeters. There we go. So that's basically the piece of paper that you're going to work with. So in length, it's 18 centimeters, and in width, it's 13.5. So this one is slightly longer. So I'm just quickly going to cut this also to 18.5. Oh, I almost made it 19. There we go. Again, if you don't have these tools, you can measure it out like I did in the beginning, old school, and then just cut it with a scissors. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move on to is how to actually construct this pocket now. I'm just turning it around because this will be the outside of my pocket and that will be the inside, just because that's naturally how this paper goes. And I'm just going to clamp it there again. It's just easier for me to work with. And then I'm going to fold this in by 1 centimeter. So basically each of these lines going down here is 1 centimeter. You don't have to be exactly. You can, of course, also work in different measurements. This is just the way that I do it. You can make it larger. You can fold that more in. It just depends on how big you would like your pocket to be. Now, before I continue on, I just want to say that if you have a pinking shears that are very similar to this, it's basically more meant for children, so it's not very heavy duty. If you're using something like this, before folding that in, I'll cut the top and I'll cut the bottom part, because this is not heavy duty and it's not able to cut through loads of layers of papers. However, if you have a heavy duty scissors like this, it's also pinking shears, then you can fold this in, stick it, and then we're going to cut it. So just depending on what you are using, the steps might be different. So I'm just using a tad bit of glue. I'm just using a wet glue to get this This glue is really nice because it doesn't sink into the paper that quickly, and it's also I don't know, like if you sometimes use a wet glue, it makes marks on the paper. This is not one of them, so that's really nice. It doesn't make like oil marks going through the paper. It's not really oil marks, is it? It's more wet. So just sticking that together. Now, after it's dried, I'm just using pinking shears and I'm going to cut this. Now, you can be more precise and draw like a line, because if you want all your pockets to be the same size, this is essentially what you'll have to do. But if you're not too phased, you can just start cutting. So I do a 1 centimeter line. Let me just double check. Yep, I do a 1 centimeter line, so over there. So again, I'm just going to the end points and then the middle to make sure that I'm getting a straight line. And I'm making this line very, very light because you don't want that to be on your paper, but you can always rub it out. Okay, so now that we've got that line, you're just going to use your pinking shears and try and stay on it as closely as you can. And then if you have any unwanted marks that are still peeping through, you can just go through with your eraser and rub that out. I've marked it very lightly so you can hardly see it, and it rubs out so easily. Now you basically choose which part's going to be the bottom and which part's going to be the top. And I think I'm going to do this, the bottom part. So I'm bringing again my X-Acto knife, and I'm using this block as a guide, and I'm just putting it there. And then I'm doing a diagonal cut from basically from that corner to that corner. Again, you don't have to do this precisely if this is not something that bothers you. You can just do a cut or don't do a cut, however you prefer. And then I'm doing the same process just on the other side. And then on the inside here, we're going to fold it over now to close up the pocket. So I'm trying to, again, get a precise fold on this. And I'm just basically putting my ruler on those two corners, and it's more or less 1 centimeter that goes in. So I'm just giving it a fold like that to make it easy. And then folding it in, and then again just go back to your glue, add some glue here. And this is where I find that a glue stick is just not going to work for me. It's not so easy to get it into that corners. So you're doing your first set there, and then there's a second flap that you're also going to use. This glue, when it dries, it dries clear and it's permanent. So I feel that my pocket is going to be sturdy enough to hold the things that I would like to add in there. And there is your pocket. Now we're going to go to how to decorate it. So the next step is to decorate this pocket. I am using these books to mainly make my pockets out of. And you can use, as I've said previously, anything that you really would like. And then I've got some, you can either use book pages or music pages. So I think I'm just going to start off going through this book and looking for something that I can add to the tag. Oh, I actually like that. I think I'll use it. And I've still got some lace in there. Okay, so after fussy cutting that image, you're just going to pick if you would like to line it up with book, like text or music notes. I'll just do a rough tear. So this image will be okay, like if you stick it to the side or the middle, but I think because it's so nice and large, I would like for it to go into the middle. And I actually like the way that it is. So for this part, I'm just using a glue stick to get this down. I feel that is more than suffice for the decoration part. For the construction, I mean, you can use this glue and see how it performs, but when I'm doing something for the store, I like to be sure that I'm using a glue that is really going to last and not something that is going to start drying out. And then I'll sort of just stick that over it. There's always bits that you have to add some extra glue to. It's actually easier if you turn this around onto scrap paper and just do your glue. Okay, there's still bits that are sticking up. That's irritating me. Okay, and then I'm going into my stickers and I'm just looking for something that's not too large, or it all depends. Sometimes I use something that's large. It's what's going to fit with it. So I actually like how this is coming together, and I'm just finding a spot for it. Again, it doesn't always stick properly, so I will always reinforce it with some of this glue, or just again using the glue stick to stick that down. And that's basically how I construct these pockets. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you got some inspiration from it. All the products that I showed you earlier on, I will have a link down below this video to my Etsy store if you would like to have a closer look, see some photos, and just get the measurements. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.